everybody. Hi, it's Becky from PowerToolsWithThread.com. That's my blog. Y'all, what a busy weekend. We stayed home. We didn't go to the coast. And I have been doing a lot of housekeeping here that needed to be done. So I today spent the day on my garment sewing machines, my serger and my cover stitch, and I resized a bunch of Ginormous sewing t-shirts that I had gotten in the mail. Y'all ask me about my shirts all the time, and I'll tell you, I get them off of Facebook ads that come, you know, when I'm looking in my own personal feed. You know, sometimes I order them if they're pretty good price. If they're like $30 or $40, I generally don't, but if they're 10 or 20 bucks, I will. And the problem is you just don't know what the sizing is going to be. So I can get a 2X that is this big and I can get a 2X that is this big. And I generally wear an extra large, and so I know that if I get a 2X, for the most part, I can size them down. So like on this shirt right here, this is one I did this morning. I took 3 inches off of the sleeve. I took 1.5 inches off flattened, so that would have been a total of 3 because it was both sides of the arm's eye, or the underarm seam. You can't mess with the arm's eye. You just can't do that. We'll call it a dolman sleeve. What do you think? And then, you know, tapering it in on the sides, and then taking 4 inches off the bottom of the shirt. So the shirts I had, they all said Fruit of the Loom, and they were all armpit to armpit, 24 inches. And there was large, extra large, and 2XL, and they all were 24 inches armpit to armpit. Now I'm like, you know, there's just no standard sizing on those. So I usually buy large and then size them down. And so I spent today doing that. If you're new to sewing, or maybe you're a quilter and you don't know the sewing terms, the serger is pretty much the only machine I use on knits, like a t-shirt. And it just provides a finished edge. You know, it finishes the edge. So I know knits don't ravel, but I do that anyway. I serge the ends because I mark where they need, and wherever I mark, that's where the knife goes. And so it cuts and it serges all at the same time, finishes the edge. But then I also have a cover stitch, and I just think it's so funny that this YouTube thing I have going on, I'm going to blame on buying a cover stitch, because when I got it several years ago, I went looking for how to use the thing because I had no clue, and I came across Joy Bernhardt's channel, and she had just gotten one, and she was showing how to thread it and make it work and all that. And so I became a huge fan of Joy's and started following her, and then through comments and Facebook and whatnot, we've gotten to know each other, and it was her recommending her viewers to watch me that started all of this. So I owe a lot of what's going on here in my YouTube world to Joy. So anyway, I don't know why I went down that hole. So a cover stitch will do this stitch right here. I'm gonna get up real close. See that double line of stitching? See how professional that looks? That is a cover stitch machine, and it finishes the underside just like a serger does. Now that is serged and cover stitched, but that's just because I like to do that. I think the most tedious part of the whole thing is gluing all of the hem edges up. I just hate that part, but you got to do it in order to get a nice finish so that it looks professional like this and it'll hold. So, okay, I was doing t-shirt alterations. I'm using my new Designs by Juju notebook cover on my notebooks for my video notes. I also went looking for a pattern to do an embroidery design that I had printed out on my home printer, and I went to pull the book out, and all of the papers that were in the book fell on the floor. And I said, oh, really? Because I've been so lazy, I haven't been putting them, you know, where they need to go. So I got out. This is the book they were in. I need to put a pretty cover inside here, just a plain old 3-ring notebook, but that's what happened, see? That's a quilt I want to make. I didn't put it back in there, but I went ahead and cut up some file folders with tabs. They used to be legal size. Cut them up. So I've got my quilting and embroidery in the hoop and regular embroidery. I have sewing garments and sewing projects and all of that kind of stuff. So I have a lot of cool stuff in here. There's that nursing cover I made for my daughter-in-law. But yeah, so now I'm all organized and I feel very, very accomplished about that. Because it was a mess. This quilt, pardon me, this quilt I want to make is from a Fawns and Porter's Love of Quilting, July, August 2016. And it's called Home of the Brave. It is a Quilt of Valor quilt. Y'all know I love my patriotic stuff. But look at this thing. Have any of you guys made this? I think this is just fabulous. And it's quilted pretty simply. So you know, it tells you how to make these templates. And so I also made the templates that are needed. They say to use freezer paper, but these happen to be the cardboard file folders I was using. So I made those templates, and I'll probably make an order into Scrappy Quilter. I think I want to use batiks. I think that'd be really cool. So, you know, I need another project, right? Yeah, I did that. I got all that organized. A lot of you have messaged me to tell me that the row along for Fat Quarter Shops, the Jolly Bar Book 2 row along, has been delayed to June 29th. I want to go ahead and keep doing it since I have the book, I have the instructions. I can't wait till the end of June because right in July we're going to start, where is it? Warmest Wishes. It's in here somewhere. We're going to start Warmest Wishes, and I've been getting a lot of questions about this. You really need a 9x14 hoop at a minimum in order to be able to do this. If you have a 5x7 or 6x10, there are going to be parts and pieces of it that you would have to stitch down the old-fashioned way instead of being able to use Simply Applique. Somebody asked me, do I trace the pattern? Because it comes with one big paper pattern. And do I trace that? Y'all, I'm too lazy to trace a thing. What I normally do is I fold this into multiple folds and put it on my printer. I'll put it on the printer and print out what I can. I mean, if it won't fit on my printer bed, then on the glass 8.5 by 11, then I will trace it. But for the most part, I just make copies of one piece and then scan in that one copy and then get it out on Brother's canvas and clean it up and only keep what I need and delete the rest. That's the easiest way to do that. You'll save a ton of time. How do I know how to hoop it? And in short, it's a layering. So the design that I dropped something out of here. I felt it. There it is. So the design that we previously did in Simply Applique, I will go ahead and put the new design on top of it so that it fits up right, everything is placed correctly, and then delete the other design, and then go ahead and center it in the hoop and stitch out that one. I hope that makes sense. If it doesn't, you'll understand as we go through the Warmest Wishes using the Scan and Cut and Simply Applique. This is going to go real quick. The first one or two hoopings, you're going to be like, what? But just keep going, you'll get it. And then you'll be like, I got this. I love hearing from all of y'all that you've bought the Scan and Cut, and you know, it has, even if you don't have Simply Applique, it has changed your world about cutting the SVG files, you know, or scanning in a paper pattern and then cutting out your fabrics. And so that's really a lot of fun. I bought a couple of quilts, Annie's quilts, Annie's, exclusively Annie's quilt designs. I don't know why. They kind of caught my eye. They were on sale. I bought Old Glory. That's a real pretty one. This just screams Kansas Troubles, but it's not. I guess you could use their fabric. This was a real pretty jelly roll quilt. Always better with jelly. I bought that one. Really like this. And it uses one jelly roll, but it also requires a couple yards of light and a couple yards of the dark purple. They all, you know, because it's got a dominant in that purple or the light colors. And then one of the members of our Facebook group, Power Tools with Thread Facebook group, she made this quilt. And this is just the cutest thing ever, and it is an Annie's. Again, for organization, I only print out the cover because what if I don't ever make it, right? So I only print out the cover, and then on the back I have it's in my quilting folder, babies, on my computer. So that's how I keep track, and I don't, kill a load of trees, because I have found a lot of these I haven't made yet, and I don't want to waste a lot of paper, so, and ink and all that goes with that. Y'all, that video I did for these notebook covers, I put it on the Designs by Juju Facebook page, and oh my gosh, the response is astounding. Thank you all very much for your very kind words and comments about that. I really appreciate it, and congratulations to those of you that have gone ahead and done it. I think that's fabulous. So, just keep pushing yourself on your skills. If you mess up, fix it. Don't matter. Not a big deal. Oh, my friend Lisa, she's just now getting into quilting, or not quilting, she's been quilting for 100 years, just now getting into embroidery. And I told her, I said, I'm going to give you one piece of advice. It's the best piece of advice I ever got. The best piece of advice I ever got, I got from a Craftsy class. Let's not talk about that. That's a sore subject with me right now. From Deborah Jones. And she said, when it comes to embroidery, there are those who test and those who wish they did. That is the best piece of advice. So even though, and that's what your scrap basket is for, you guys. One of our members of our Facebook group asked if I could, or maybe it was a comment on the video. She asked if I could show her how to make a patch, because her grandson had asked for a special flag patch and she had no idea how to make it. Well, that was at 5:30 in the morning. I'm reading this and I just took off and went down a rabbit hole trying to figure all this out. I've made patches before, and they are their own duck in the embroidery world. If you want to make patches, I am going to do a video on how to make your own patches. I did go ahead and do a couple of tests. This one I don't care for. This one is straight out of the design from Embroidery Library, emblibrary.com. They have a whole bunch of patch outlines that are there. And unless you know how to manipulate it in Embrilliance, I don't think you're going to be real happy with it, because the die line, which they call a die line, and we would consider it to be a placement stitch where you need to put your fabric, is to the outside of the design. It is all the way out here, and you cannot get close enough with your scissors to trim the fabric without cutting the threads. And when it's all said and done, you can tell I didn't even put a patch design on here and it's already puckering. Okay, not happy with that particular one. I gave it another shot and I did this one, and this one came out much better, but I had to manipulate the pattern. So this is a test. This is just a scrap. I put some heat and bond on the back of this because this is not all stitches. There's a whole bunch of open space on here. So I'll be able to peel the paper off like this, and it will iron on, and then you can stitch it down or whatever. I've been playing around with this. For those of you that might be interested in doing a patch with me, I have talked with the brains behind the website of Designs by Juju, and Julie and I talked the other day, and I told her about this, and she said she's going to put together some patch outlines for us that are digitized properly, so that the placement line and the tack down are within the outside stitching, so you can trim your fabric and your edges will be completely covered. So it's very cool. You will want to get yourself some Sulky. This stabilizer is called Sulky Ultra Solvy. You're going to want that. And you can use quilting cotton. I starched the fire out of it, you guys. You want it to be almost like paper. So if you have Material Magic, you might consider that as well. But I'm very happy with this. Changing the placement line of the placement and the tack down, changed this so that it did not, it didn't ripple. My poor baby dog, Harley. What's that? Oh, that one's blue. Poor Harley last February was running and she hurt herself. That's my three-legged dog. And she hurt herself, and so she's been kind of limping around. I thought it was a groin pull. So she has her right front, she's missing her, the whole arm. We took the shoulder and everything. She got hit by a truck. And so we amputated that. She was only 2 years old. And now she's 10. And she's been fine, totally healthy, runs like the wind, loves to chase the rope, everything. She's great. She was running and she yelped and kind of sat down and pity face, you know, and I went and she got up and she started doing okay. This was just last February, and like I said, and I thought, because she was kind of, you know, yelping when whimpering when I touched her here in her hip, I thought, well, maybe it's a groin. She had full mobility of it all. So here she comes now. So are you coming in, baby? You gonna go see Daddy? So she's been getting around just fine. Well, it's not getting any better. So I took her to the vet the other day. Y'all, she has a blown ACL and a torn meniscus in doggy terms. So she's going in for surgery on June 11th. Don't ask. Let's just say my sewing account is going to be depleted a little bit. Prayers for my Harley dog, please. I'll let you guys know. Also, we just sold our cattle ranch. So we had to buy a... Are you done? You okay? You're a good girl, yes. We had to buy a building, 12 by 32 foot building, and just had it delivered today. And my husband has to now go out to the barn at the ranch and haul all the stuff that doesn't convey into the new building. So, gonna be hot in there. I told him you better put a window unit air conditioner. But I just love how those people deliver those buildings. It's so cool. They got those little scooters, and this guy was fabulous. He's been doing it for 4 years. He was great. Had it no time. I work with a girl. Oh, work. I am on permanent telework now. Permanent. 5 days a week. From now to eternity. With this COVID thing and the government giving away trillions of dollars to help people with their rent and to help them get through of all of this hardship, they took away our money that we were going to have for a new building for my my office and security, and they're kicking some folks out of another building that belonged to us. So we're adding 7 more people into our shop, and now we're being told we have to do what's called hot desking. And that means I have to go in Monday to my desk and I have to take away everything that I don't want somebody else to be messing with, right? So I don't have my own personal desk anymore. I'm going to be hot desking with my coworker Terry. He's pretty cool. He's all right. You know, and I only have to go in like one day every other week to check this special email account, and that's it. So I'll be working from home now for the foreseeable future. Our leadership in my office told us, y'all, this is the new normal. Things will not be the same. So, you know, I mean, it's no big deal. I'm teleworking all the time, and 8 hours a day, 9 hours a day, because I'm on a compressed work schedule. 9 hours a day, and I am not sewing at all because I can't. I don't have time. Telecons, and you have to log into this thing that's called Teams. I know y'all have seen the commercial for Microsoft Teams on your, you know, on TV. And so in the old days, we called it Hollywood Squares. And so you have everybody's picture up there. I'm in those meetings 4 times a week. I'm on telecons daily, sometimes multiple times a day, and then answering emails all the time and, you know, making policy and handling this and doing that. And there's no time for sewing. I wish I had time to be goofing off. It's depressing. Didn't mean to go down that hole either. A girl I work with, Tammy, she doesn't live too far from me. I've known Tammy since 2004 when I started with my current organization. And her mother is a quilter and an embroiderer. Well, her mom's friend, who was also an embroiderer, went into a nursing home and gave all of her embroidery stuff to Tammy's mom. And Tammy's mom went through it and kept everything she wanted and gave me all the rest. And let me show you what landed at my house. I bet you I have $1,000 worth of embroidery thread right here. This is all Isacord, and they're brand new full spools, most of them. This is what I use in my long arm. It came with the little boxes that they're in, those Sterilite boxes. And here is 2020 14 1/4 by 100 yards. I don't know what it is. I suspect it's tearaway. And then here's an entire box of Sulky, and these are Coates and Clark. I got more green, and I've got like variegated that came. There's a bunch of purples. Look at these. I think this was her variegated thread box. Those are blues. She's very organized. And then this is like a box, I think, full of metallics. There's a bunch of metallics in here. Look at that. Isn't that crazy? That's unbelievable. So, Patty Penn, I know where one of your thank you cards is going to go. So, this is Elaine who gave all of this to me. And Elaine, I want to give you a great big thank you, because that is just absolutely fabulous. I will make very, very, very good use of it. So tomorrow is May 31st. Where did this year go? My goodness. All right. Please give the video a thumbs up and subscribe. I love having all of my subscribers and leaving me comments and everything. And I try to acknowledge each and every one of you. So, all right. We'll talk to you soon. Go sew something. Bye.